And welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well. In this video, I am going to go over 8 parenting rules that I just don't follow, and I'm going to explain to you what I do instead. Now, I'm not saying that the way I parent is the way to parent. That's just what works for me and for my family. I'm sure that everybody has their own parenting skills or things that they do that is different to every other parent. So if you like this kind of content, please give my video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And for those of you who have already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for following me through this journey. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, when we have children, there's a lot of people who tell you what to do, how to do it, what to say, and it could be a little bit irritating because you as a new parent, you want to learn the ways of parenting or disciplining. And I know for a lot of us, we have in our minds how we want to discipline our children because that's what we were taught and that's how we grew up. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the correct way of parenting. You will find your style of parenting when you have your children. Now, I did write some notes here in regards to my parenting style. Now, as you know, I sometimes tend to go off topic, but I promise I'm going to try to stay on topic just because of video time purposes. And yeah, that's basically it. So the first one is sharing. Now, I know that when you have a couple of children, we're always taught that, yes, you have to share. Sharing is caring. Although I do believe in that model, yes, your children should share their toys. That's perfectly fine. But what I do instead is if one of my children goes into the playroom and they grab a toy and the other one comes along and then the other one decides that she or he wants that toy, I do not follow that you got to share. I do say that you have to share sometimes, but it depends on the situation. So for instance, in that situation where the child went and got, or one of my children got a toy and the other one decided she or he wanted it, I don't make the other child share. So what I say instead is, okay, your brother or sister had this toy first, they got it first, now you have to wait your turn. Once they're done with that, you can go ahead and play with it. I always use the rule, if you got it first, you play with it first. You don't necessarily have to share that toy. There are toys that I do have them share if there's more than one. So if they're playing with, I don't know, a set of cars and there's plenty of cars to go around, then you guys can share your toys. But if there's only one toy and one child got it, I don't make them share. I make them wait their turn. Now, again, necessarily that's not how everybody parents. And again, that's just me. I don't like taking a toy away and giving it to the other child and saying, okay, now you guys have to share. No, I don't think that's fair at all. And of course, when you have siblings, you are taught to share. You go to school, share. And that's great. I do teach my children to share, but not necessarily in that situation. Now, the second one will be discipline. We all discipline our children differently. We all have our styles of disciplining our children. Some are better than others, but we all have our own ways. So I don't believe in hitting. I don't hit my children. I don't believe in hitting at all. I want them to learn respect and I want them to listen, but not by feeling threatened. So what I do instead is, instead of hitting, I use a lot of timeout. So if one of my children is misbehaving in any way, shape, or form, I do pull them to the side and I speak to them. Mind you, my children are 4 and 2. My 4-year-old understands more than my 2-year-old, but don't be fooled. Every child understands when they're doing something wrong. So I do pull my 4-year-old aside and I do explain to him, hey, you need to stop this now or you will be going to timeout. Like a warning, this is your warning. If he thinks that I am playing around, the second time, I just say, okay, I warned you, I gave you a chance, it's time to go timeout. And depending if he's hysterical, then we'll put him in timeout in his bedroom. We don't close doors, so the door is open. He knows he's okay, he's safe, he sits in his chair and he stays there. Or if we're in the living room and he's acting up or whatever, I just sit him in a corner and he just has to sit there and think about it. I also, at this point, don't take things away from them because I don't feel a need to say I'm going to take X, Y, and Z away from you because you're not listening. I do think that I will use that method as they get older. But at this moment, it's just more of I speak to them and I sit them in timeout, and then after they're done with their timeout, I do like to pull them aside and kind of explain to them, this is what you did, what you did wrong, please don't do it again, or you're going to sit in timeout. My third one would be bedtime. Now this one is extremely important for me because I don't follow the rule that you take them to bed and then they still need time to unwind, they run around in their bedroom, or they want to read a book or whatever. I do not. I do all that before they settle into bed. So our bedtime routine would be we play in the living room. If they want to read, we can read to unwind. We can play for a little bit, and then it's shower time. So once we hit shower, they both know they have to shower. They're done, and then after shower, they go to their bedroom. They don't fuss or anything about it. They go and we close the door. That's the only time we close our doors here in our home, is when they go to bed. And that means it's serious. It's time to go to bed. There's no fussing. There's no playing. There is none of that. And I have not had a problem with that yet. I'm not saying that it's always going to run smoothly, but that's exactly what I do. The fifth one would be sympathy. Now, when kids throw their tantrums, I see a lot of parents kind of go to them and try to hold them and cater to them. I understand that when they're really little, it's kind of hard for them to express how they're feeling because they can't speak. I totally get that. But what I do instead is when my daughter has a tantrum, I tend to sit right next to her and just stay very quiet. I try not to tense up. I try not to get irritated with her. I just kind of sit next to her and I let her cry. I let her, sometimes she kicks or whatever. And then eventually she will calm down. And when she comes down, I know that she wants mommy now because she starts to kind of push me a little bit. That's when I hold her, and then she's done with her tantrum. Now, when they do have a tantrum and it's extremely bad, I ignore them. I know that a lot of parents are probably going to say, why would you ignore your child? Because the more attention you pay to a tantrum, and that's what I've experienced, the more attention you pay to it, the more they do it. So when my daughter is just throwing a tantrum for no reason, or my son, I walk away from them. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not doing that. I walk away from them and I let them cool off. More times than none, they'll cool off and then just come walking towards me and they just want a hug, and they feel way better. It doesn't always happen that way. They'll tantrum for a while, but I will ignore them for a while. What my daughter's starting to do is she'll tantrum, I will walk away, she'll come find me and then continue to tantrum. I don't play those games. I don't deal with any of that. I just walk away from her. And eventually she'll just come and try to hug my leg, and then I know that she's over it. Number 6, cleaning after them. Yes, they're 4 and 6. However, I try my hardest not to clean after them. I am teaching both my children that when they're done with their food, their plate goes in the sink. I do not pick up their plate. I do not pick up their bottle. I try not to pick up their toys, because I'm teaching them that they're able to do this on their own. I know that maybe there's a lot of parents who pick up after the kids because they're young. Yes, mine are young as well. But I believe that teaching these kind of things at an early age only benefits them. So they know that every time they finish, let's say they're eating a yogurt, they know that when they're done, the yogurt goes in the trash, or the packet goes in the trash, the spoon goes in the sink. When they're eating applesauce, when they're done, that goes in the trash. When they're done eating their food, the plate goes into the sink. So again, I know that there's a lot, and I know a lot of parents who don't do that they rather just do these things for their children. I do not do that. I don't want them to think that it's okay to eat, get up and go. No, you sit and you pick up your plate and then you can get up and go. So I try my best. There's things that I still clean up after them, like their bedroom. Sometimes it's a mess, and I do have them help, but I help as well. When I dust their bedroom, I don't want them in there because they both have asthma, so I clean that. It's just more of a pick up after yourself that I'm teaching them to do, and then they automatically now do it. When they're done with their things, they clean up after themselves and they don't say anything. Sometimes they'll forget, and I'll just bring them back to wherever they left either the glass they were drinking or the cup they were drinking from or their wrapper, and then just point at it, and then they'll pick it up and take it to the trash. So that's what works for me. If picking up after them works for you, I know that there's some parents who actually enjoy doing that. Not a lot, but I do know some that works for them, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that the way I do it, it's right, and doesn't mean that the way they do it, it's wrong. It's just different types of or styles of parenting. Number 7. And this is not no, I don't follow or I follow. This is just something that I started to do. So I explain everything to my children as if they were a little older. And they do understand everything you say. So previously, when I said I do discipline them and I do time out, I do take my time to explain to them why these things are happening, or how they can do better. I do sit there and talk to them about their day. I have them explain to me what they did. So I like to speak to them in a way of like, if I'm just talking to another older person, not of course an adult, but in words that I don't baby talk to them. I don't know why. I just feel like they understand me better when I speak to them in that tone. And I also want them to learn the correct language or the correct word for the thing they're talking about. So that's what I do. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the correct thing to do, but that's what I like doing and it works for me. Now, number 8, and again, this is not a rule that I don't follow. This is just a rule that I created in my home. And that is when sometimes children get emotional for no reason, and I'm not talking like a temper tantrum. I'm talking more like they get frustrated if they're trying to do something or if they're trying to say something, then they can't communicate and they just cry because they just can't do it. I mean, hell, sometimes I feel like doing the same thing. What I do is I do invite them, especially my oldest, my 4-year-old, because he understands that concept a little bit more. I ask him if he wants to go to his bedroom and cool off. A lot of the times he accepts. He'll go to his bedroom, he'll sit on his little couch, we'll have the door open, and I just tell him, when you are ready to come out, you can come out. You're not in timeout. You just need a moment for yourself. And surprisingly, he goes into his bedroom, he walks in there, he sits there, and then he'll cry. I can hear him cry. And then he'll just take deep breaths, and then he'll just walk out and tell me, Mommy, I'm ready. And then he'll try to explain to me what he wanted to explain to me in the first place. What I do with my 2-year-old is when she's crying and she's trying to calm herself down, I just kind of tell her, take a deep breath, and I show her how to do it. She doesn't ever do it, but she just kind of looks at me. And I think in staring at me, she kind of forgets about why she was crying, and she's just looking at me and staring at me. So that works for me when I'm trying to calm them down. Not necessarily when they have a temper tantrum, but sometimes they get emotional, again, because they're trying to communicate with you. They're trying to say something, especially my son. He has a speech impediment, so it's kind of hard for us to communicate sometimes, or it's hard for him to express what he wants or what he needs. So I always try to ask him to take his time when he's trying to explain something, but he gets really frustrated. So when he does that, I just ask him to sit in his bedroom, where it's the quietest room. He sit in his bedroom, the door is open, and he just when he's calm, he'll tell me, Mommy, I'm ready, and then he'll just walk out. That works well. I mean, I want to do that every time I want to flip, because I just want to be by myself. I want to gather my thoughts and then come back out and try to explain what I needed. And I felt like that maybe would work for him, and surprisingly it does. So that's a method that I use. I don't know if any parent uses that. I'm sure there's a lot of parents that do, or they do it differently. So anyways, again, I just wanted to share what rules I follow in parenting. Some of these rules I create my own as I go. We don't know how to parent until we have children, and sometimes it's kind of hard to know which one is right and which one is wrong. What I've learned is that any style that you choose that works for you and your children is the correct style of parenting. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Don't let anybody tell you like, no, you should do it this way because it's better. It may be better for them, and that's great, but it may not work for you or your child. So I've heard a lot of parents tell me like, you should spank them. If you just spank them, they'll learn. No, I don't believe. My husband and I do not believe in spanking. I don't believe in spanking. That is it for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload new videos. For those of you who have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for following me through this journey. Until next time, thank you. Bye.